Hello. Hello, my friends, so I can relax, right? Right, yes. Okay. Frequencies speak. And wow, they have a lot to say. When I say frequencies speak, I mean it in the most literal sense. They have voices, perspectives, and opinions. As I align, harmonize, and merge with them, they speak, and I take dictation. I'll be sharing some of my personal stories about how I experience frequencies as both tools and teachers, but I invite you to consider how you can choose to listen and learn from the frequency messages in your life as well. Frequencies have spoken to me many times over the years. The most dramatic time was about 27 years ago, shortly after I left my husband of 22 years. I was broke as a joke and feeling so lost. Early on this foggy morning, as I walked my little black dog all alone on the bluffs over the ocean, I felt this powerful yearning, a desperation really, for direction in my life. In complete surrender, I called out to Source, "I don't know what to do. Please, please help me. Please tell me what to do." And I kid you not, I was awestruck as a booming voice answered, "Discover the power of love." Just like that. My heart instantly broke open. I knew I had a mission. There was no doubt. My whole being knew that love would lead the way. I wept with relief, gratitude, and purpose. Since that time, so many ideas, actions, and acts of service have developed from hearing and heeding the call of the frequency of love. I got curious about the power of love. I began asking myself and others to consider asking ourselves in challenging situations, if my heart was full of love, what would I do? My heart was full of love, what would I say? Here's an example of how letting the answer to this question be my guide, how I did that. My daughter was in 8th grade, looking forward to a class trip to Washington, D.C. Still broke as an ongoing joke, I had made special arrangements with the school to split the cost of the trip between myself and her dad, and to pay monthly until we'd paid the full amount. About a week before the trip, I got a call from the school warning that my daughter wouldn't be able to go to DC unless we completed the second half of the payment. Apparently, my ex had ignored the payment plan and hadn't paid a cent in 6 months. I was incensed, outraged, really, really pissed off. You get the drift, right? But once I calmed down a little bit, I didn't have the money. I mean, I couldn't fix it, right? So once I calmed down a little, I mentally scrambled for a plan to confront my ex, but I knew that no matter how carefully I chose my words, the anger would seep through my voice and provoke a defensive response. And I have a very emotional voice. So I've been told. Anyway, so I took a few breaths and I made a choice. I chose love. If my heart was full of love, what would I say? I allowed myself to relax and merge with the frequency of love. Then I picked up the phone. Instead of shaming and blaming or threatening, I asked with truly compassionate concern, how are we going to make sure that our daughter gets to go on this trip? How can you get the money you owe? Instead of becoming defensive or avoidant like he usually did, he responded to the genuine care in my voice. The shift in my energy gave him room, and we worked together to help him find the funds he owed. Love showed the way. Frequency spoke to me again a few years later while I was teaching the I Love Me meditation in a geodesic dome in Half Moon Bay. Over the series of 12 classes, the meditations introduce the frequencies of love, trust, value, gratitude, and acceptance. At some point in the series, we called these life-giving frequencies. As a teacher, I always encourage discussion of the material to help the students live the teachings in their daily lives. So I felt the clear inspiration to share the powerful potential of employing life-giving frequencies. So I said, what are they, do you think? And I asked the students this. And we talked about how life-giving frequencies felt expansive and energizing. Our energy increased and our mood improved when we engaged in love, trust, value, acceptance, and gratitude. Heads nodded. Yeah. Do you realize how powerful it is to know that we can harmonize with frequencies that uplift and revitalize us whenever we choose? More nodding. So on a roll, I enthusiastically asked, what other life-giving frequencies can you think of? This was juicy stuff. But my students sat there waiting for me to spoon feed the answers. I offered a few more examples, life-giving frequencies of compassion, grace, integrity, but still crickets. They still didn't quite get it. So I suggested we think about it and discuss it further the next week. But the discussion had activated something in me. I was excited and inspired and curious. Life-giving frequencies were everywhere. When I climbed into bed that night, I lay awake as the frequencies were popcorning around in my head. Their voices could not be denied. Abundance, clarity, passion, humility, and on and on and on. Finally, I gave up trying to sleep, and I switched on the light and took dictations. The ABCs of life-giving frequencies flowed from the ethers into my pen, A through Z. When we got to Z, for zest, by the way, the activated energy ebbed, and I was allowed to sleep. It was really just like that. It was amazing. I brought that inspired list to my meditation class the next week to share and discuss and add to the flow of frequency revelation. Here are some of the frequencies in the flow. A for abundance. You guys can think of some too. B for benevolence. C for compassion. Can you guess what D might be? Dignity, determination, delight. E for enthusiasm, effervescence. F for forgiveness. On and on and on and on. Anyway, so the frequencies felt so alive to me, and they kept offering guidance and inspired action. From the concept of frequencies from A to Z, combined with my Reiki and healing touch background, I developed a practice called conscious frequency healing. As part of that, I printed the names of life-giving frequencies on slips of paper that clients drew from a bowl like oracle cards, and the card chosen would invariably be the perfect frequency for that person at that time. I would harmonize with a kind of merge with the client and the chosen frequency and allow it to guide the session. For example, one client pulled the frequency of joy from the bowl. So we put it on the table, and as she lay on the treatment table, my hands immediately went to her hips, and joy was awaiting acknowledgement and release in her hips. They wanted to dance. When I delivered joy's message to her, tears began to flow. I used to be a dancer, and I loved it so much. It made me feel so alive. Her system yearned to reclaim the joy of dance. It was a straightforward and easy choice for her to make. She could dance to reclaim her joy. Frequencies as tools and teachers, again, very clearly spoke to me a few years ago when our spiritual evolution class got the assignment to meditate on 4 frequencies in a specific sequence. The frequencies were love, trust, forgiveness, and gratitude. We were instructed to meditate on each of these life-giving frequencies in that order for several months and to pay attention. One evening as I meditated, the frequency series came to life and spoke. Love is the embrace. Trust is all eternity. Forgiveness is the ascension. And gratitude is the expansion of all this. This time I didn't hear a booming voice as I had on the bluffs, but the message was as clear as anyone speaking to me just inside my head. As I engaged with this living message, it revealed that it's a formula for raising our rate of vibration. These specific frequencies team up to lift us above our struggles with density and distortion into lighter and higher perspectives. Really, really works. That revelation inspired me to develop the Ascension Frequency Formula, which uses messages from various aspects of each of the four frequencies of love, trust, forgiveness, and gratitude to assist people in rising above density and distortion for a life-giving perspective. It works beautifully. All of this came from meditation, of course, revelation in class, then meditation, listening, receiving inspiration, and acting on the guidance I got. In another flash of inspiration, feeling that zing of excitement, I was guided to ask the master frequencies of love, trust, forgiveness, and gratitude for their perspectives on how to heal the four primary ego fears. Side note, the four primary ego fears are the fear of lack, the fear of rejection, the fear of loss of power and control, and the fear of unworthiness. I felt the answer to these questions could help me help my clients with these common issues. Again, the frequencies spoke, and I took dictation. So I'd like to finish up with a little experiment. I'd like to share what love, trust, forgiveness, and gratitude each told me about healing the ego fear of unworthiness. Okay, so this is just an ego fear. We know about ego. I invite you to tune in and listen for the distinct quality of each frequency's message. Just notice how each message lands with you. Okay, so here's the dictation I took. What does love say about healing? What does love say about healing the fear of being unworthy? Oh, poor ego, you are so confused. Love is a part of the fabric of who you are. You cannot not be loved. Love is you. When you proclaim yourself unworthy of love, you are denying a part of yourself. Worthiness, whether or not you deserve love, is completely irrelevant to the truth of who you really are. Believing you are unworthy turns off your receptors so that the love that flows through you and to you goes unacknowledged, unrecognized. When you give no more energy to the belief you are unworthy, your consciousness stops being a vehicle for related thoughts, and new vistas are allowed to open. Receptors to love, sensors of yourself, can now begin to sense themselves and operate as they were intended. So that's love. So what does trust say about healing the ego fear of unworthiness? Recognizing your value, your worthiness, may take some time and practice. Be patient with yourself. You are unlearning old habit patterns and allowing the truth of who you really are to emerge as your nervous system responds and adapts to the messaging of your beliefs. Neural networks take time to grow. Have faith that you are worthy. Correct yourself when well-practiced negative thoughts arise to convince you that you are unworthy. Replace the self-deprecating thoughts with positive, supportive, and encouraging thoughts. Fake it till you make it. In so doing, you are building the neural network infrastructure to support an enduring sense of value. Keep it up. You are worth it. Okay, now take a breath and listen as forgiveness weighs in. Who has told you, in word or deed, that you are not good enough? Who or what has anchored you to this sense of self? Notice people and events that spring to mind. Notice your responses to those people or events. Do you feel shame, anger, fear, confusion? Any strong feelings are charges magnetizing or gluing you to the belief that you are not good enough. Time to forgive these people and events. Forgiving them releases their hold on you so you can grow and expand and begin to experience the truth of who you are instead of experiencing their projections of who you are. Two very different things. Set these people and events into an imaginary hot air balloon with a homing device to source. Go ahead, pile them in. They have been writing your story far too long. Now set the balloon free and watch the stinking, wailing, sticky, black group of lies about you float up and away, freeing you to know yourself as clean, clear, powerful, divine human being. Let go and rise up. It is so. Okay, take a breath. And finally, gratitude speaks on the ego fear of unworthiness. Having let all those nasty stories about yourself go, can you feel the expansiveness? Can you feel the relief? If not, go back and let more shitty experiences go. As you do this, you will naturally be filled with relief and then gratitude, with the realization that all this liberation is possible, that you can drop pain and rise above it. Thank God and Goddess. Look around you now. Life is art. You are art. You fit into the grand scheme exactly as you should. Hallelujah. Behold the world as colors take on more intensity. The sigh of a breeze ruffles your hair. The birds sing their praises to the sun. Praise it, and life gladly shares its richness with you. You are worthy. Praise life. Praise you. Okay, take a breath. Could you hear the distinct differences in the ways that the frequencies advise us as we tune in and let them speak? Isn't that cool? So cool. So you can do that too through your own individual awareness, right? I share these stories with you because I believe engaging with the spiritual work that we do in this community holds tremendous potential for all of us. When we listen and get curious and let ourselves receive the answers, each of us will be guided according to our individual awareness. When we focus that attention on life-giving frequencies, a world of positivity and expansion opens to us. The topic of life-giving frequencies really excites me. And when I followed that excitement, the frequencies came to life. They spoke to me, becoming teachers and tools for growth and expansion in my life. Following the excitement, the yes in this discovery process has been such a joy for me. Thank you for allowing me to share it.